Right now, this exact second, your brain is physically changing shape. Not metaphorically. Literally. Every notification you just ignored to watch this video. Every scroll you did before clicking. Each one is either strengthening a circuit in your brain or burning one down. And most people are reshaping their brains every single day in the wrong direction. Not because they're broken, but because no one showed them what the daily defaults are doing to their wiring. This isn't motivation. This is architecture. I call it the neural blueprint, 7 habits that rebuild the physical structure of your brain. Starting today. Let me describe a night you've had. You got home, not sleepy tired, empty tired. You opened your phone, scrolled, watched something, opened the fridge, ate something you didn't want, went back to scrolling. 2 hours vanished. You went to bed feeling vaguely guilty, vaguely numb, told yourself tomorrow would be different. It wasn't. That's not a willpower problem. That's a dopamine problem. Your brain has a reward thermostat. Every high stimulation, low effort reward, infinite scroll, junk food, another episode, cranks it upward. And suddenly, reading, working on a project, having a real conversation, they register as boring. Not because they are boring, because your brain's threshold for rewarding has been artificially inflated. Your reward system has been pickpocketed. The reset, once a week, take a boring evening. No phone, no TV, no snacks, just you, a notebook, maybe a walk. The first 30 minutes will feel like withdrawal. That discomfort is the thermostat recalibrating. After a few hours, things that felt meh, cleaning, calling a friend, writing, suddenly feel appealing. You're not adding new rewards. You're making the real ones visible again. But recalibrating the thermostat is useless if the hardware running everything crashes every night. You know that feeling at 2 a.m. when you tell yourself just 5 more minutes and then it's 3:15? The next day, you're hungrier, shorter tempered. You make a decision you wouldn't normally make, an impulse purchase, a reply you regret. That's not a bad day. That's a brain running without its cleaning crew. While you sleep, your glymphatic network activates a pressure washer for your neurons. It flushes out metabolic waste, including proteins linked to cognitive decline. It moves your memories from short-term holding to long-term storage, like a librarian filing books after the library closes. Skip that process, and your prefrontal cortex, decisions, impulse control, emotional regulation, clocks out. You're not tougher for sleeping 5 hours. You're running a more expensive version of yourself on a cheaper operating system. The fix isn't blue light glasses. It's a consistent shutdown time. Screens off, lights dim, brain gets the signal. Sleep makes every other habit on this list actually work. Without it, focus crumbles, emotions hijack you, and discipline feels like punishment. So now you wake up clear. You sit down to work. And the real problem hits. You can't focus for more than 4 minutes. You woke up. Before your feet hit the floor, you grabbed your phone. 15 minutes vanished. You sat down to work, started something, then a text came in. You replied, then email, just quickly, then back to the task. But the thread was gone, already behind, and the day had barely started. That feeling isn't a personality flaw. It's a tax. Every time you bounce between tasks, your brain needs 15 to 25 minutes to fully re-engage. Do that 10 times a day, and you've lost hours. Not to laziness, to friction. Think of it like a guitar string. Every time you pluck it and immediately mute it, you never hear the full note. Deep focus is letting the string ring. Set one timer, 25 minutes. Phone in another room, not on silent. In another room. One thing, when your mind wanders, gently pull it back. That pull? That's the rep. That's the bicep curl for your prefrontal cortex. After a few weeks, tasks that felt like dragging a boulder start to feel possible. But you pick up a book, and you realize you've forgotten how to read. You watched a 20-minute video essay last week. You felt smarter. You nodded along. But right now, could you actually reconstruct the main argument? Probably not. Passive consumption feels like learning, the same way sitting in a gym feels like working out. You were in the room. You weren't doing the work. Your brain grows through desirable difficulty. If the material is too easy, nothing new forms. If it's too hard, you shut down. The growth zone is that stretch where you have to pause, reread, sit with an idea that doesn't click immediately. It's like opening a jar with a tight lid. The effort, the grip, the strain, that's what builds the strength. Smooth lids build nothing. Don't just highlight. Argue. Do I actually agree with this? When have I seen this play out? How would I explain this to someone who thinks it's nonsense? That friction is what builds neural pathways. Over time, you don't just know more facts. You think in higher resolution. You see patterns other people miss. But by mid-afternoon, even with the reading, even with the focus, your brain is fog. Your body feels like cargo you're dragging through the day. Exercise is not punishment for your body. It is fertilizer for your brain. When you move, your brain releases BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, miracle grow for neurons. It helps them grow, connect, and survive. Exercise also burns off cortisol, the stress hormone keeping you scattered and anxious. It's like clearing dead trees from a forest and planting new ones in the same afternoon. But the hardest moment isn't the last rep. It's the moment before you start. Every time you override that voice, every time you lace up despite the resistance, you're training the exact same neural circuit you use to start hard projects, have difficult conversations, sit down and do the work when it's not fun. 20 minutes, a walk, push-ups in your kitchen. It all counts. The point isn't performance. The point is showing your brain that your body is a partner, not a passenger. But then you're driving home. Someone cuts you off. An email lands with the wrong tone, and you watch your entire afternoon evaporate in 5 seconds of reaction. Someone sends you a message that hits wrong. Your chest tightens. Your jaw locks. You start composing a reply. Sharp, defensive, cutting. You can feel the heat climbing up your neck. This is your amygdala, driving the car. The amygdala is your brain's alarm system, fast, loud, and it doesn't think. It kept your ancestors alive when a tiger appeared. But in modern life, it fires for emails and Instagram comments. Here's the neuroscience most people miss. An emotional reaction is a chemical wave that lasts 90 seconds. If it lasts longer, you're feeding it with narrative. The technique is almost embarrassingly simple. Labeling. When the emotion hits, name it. I'm feeling defensive right now. That's anxiety. That single act shifts neural activity from your amygdala to your prefrontal cortex. From reaction to reflection. It's like turning on the lights in a dark room. The shapes that looked like monsters are just furniture. You don't suppress the feeling. You see it. And once you see it, you choose what to do with it. You respond to life instead of reacting to it. But then Tuesday comes. Rain, bad sleep, that familiar whisper. Not today. You've heard all of this before. Focus more, sleep better, read, exercise. You've tried for 3 days, maybe a week. Then life happened. You missed a day. Then I'll start again Monday. Monday came and went. That burst of motivation, filed next to the gym membership you don't use, and the journal that's blank after page 4. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Motivation is a guest. It shows up unannounced, stays for a drink, and leaves before the dishes are done. You cannot build a life on a guest. Neuroplasticity requires repetition. One deep work session doesn't rewire focus. One good night of sleep doesn't reset your brain. It's the daily, unglamorous reps that carve lasting neural pathways. The compound interest of showing up. So here's the move. Don't promise yourself an hour of reading. Promise 5 pages. Don't commit to a full workout. Commit to putting your shoes on. Make the commitment so small, it's embarrassing to skip. After a few months, something shifts that no one warns you about. These behaviors stop requiring willpower. They stop feeling like items on a checklist. They just become your default setting. The way you operate. That's when discipline disappears, because you no longer need it. These 7 habits aren't a checklist. They're an ecosystem. Sleep makes focus possible. Exercise clears the stress that hijacks your emotions. Dopamine regulation makes deep work rewarding. And consistency is the thread holding it all together. You don't need to start all 7 tomorrow. Pick one, the one that felt most like a mirror. Start small. Let your brain adapt. Because one day, maybe 3 months from now, maybe 6, you'll sit down to work. And you won't have to force yourself to focus. You'll pick up a book and actually want to read it. You'll feel an emotion rise and watch it pass, instead of being swept away. And you'll realize, this is what a rewired brain feels like. Not louder, not faster. Just clear. If this changed how you think about your brain, subscribe. See you in the next one.